fiber friends, hope everything is going well. This is the part of the video where I would normally tell you to pause and jot down your goals for production and your handmade stuff in the comments, and then to come back in a week and let everybody know what did and did not get done. But I am not going to ask you to do that because I got completely derailed. I didn't even make a video last weekend. I may try to catch up and do today's and then another one on Sunday, but no promises because I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done. So let me tell you why I got derailed. As you know, if you've been watching my videos, I found out about 6 months ago that my job was going to end in August, and it is now October. And as much as I have been grinding out job applications, and I've had a few interviews, but nothing has finalized yet. And then one day last week when I was actually sitting in the grocery store parking lot, I got an invitation to an interview, which was weirdly like a chat interview, which I thought was strange. And then there were a couple other things that were strange, but then there were some very legitimate things too, and I'm giving it away. Basically, I accepted a job that was a scam. And I felt really stupid for a couple of days and just really even sadder about the job search. So if you're wondering how do they scam you, well, I signed an employment contract, I gave them direct deposit information, and then that made me really nervous by the time I realized that it was a scam, because I'm like, oh my gosh, do they have my banking information? They don't. My husband and I did clear that with the bank. Like, they don't have any more information than they would if I had written a check to them. But what happened was I accepted this contract for employment, and then the next day, and I'm pretty confident that they are scamming East Coast people and taking advantage of the time difference. So I got an emailed check on Friday afternoon and was told, use this to buy computer equipment or office equipment that you're going to need. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. And then on Saturday morning, I got instructions to pay an invoice. And I was like, this is weird. Like, why did they send me money when I could just like quit? Like, what's the procedure here for giving it back? Or why don't you just buy the equipment and have it sent to my house? And then my husband and I both figured it out. He really didn't want to tell me, but he's like, no, this is what they're doing. They're sending you a fake check and then asking you to pay them back, and then you're out your money. Like, by the time you realize that that was a bad check, you've already given them $2,000. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so job seekers beware. And since then, besides just really not trusting anybody anymore or anything, I don't use that easy apply button on LinkedIn or on Indeed anymore. Like, when I see a job that I want to apply for, I don't apply through Indeed or through LinkedIn. Like, I actually go on the company website now and look up the job and apply via the company website now, because I'm just not trusting. And thank God, I'm just really not giving my husband enough credit here, because it was on a Thursday night when I got a valid phone call from Los Angeles, where this job was supposed to be based, saying like, we would like to offer you a contract. And I had an interview the next day. And I remember telling my husband, like, should I cancel that interview? And he was like, no, don't. Just do the interview anyway. And like, you know, you already have a job. So just go in there with the confidence of knowing that and see what happens. And I was like, you know what? Oh, you know, you're right. So I did. And maybe that will pan out, but it turns out that that job that I interviewed for on Friday last week wouldn't start until January. It's October. I really can't wait that long. I had another interview at a school yesterday, and I felt like I could answer all the questions. I don't know if I was vibing or not. I cannot stand Zoom interviews. I mean, it was honestly like at a school 2 miles down the road, and I was like, why does it have to be teleconference? Can't I just come over there and talk to you face to face? But I sent a thank you note this morning, I sent a thank you note this morning, but did not get a you're welcome note, which kind of tells me maybe she didn't like me that much, but she did say she would let me know by the end of the week. But anyway, that is not why you tuned in, but I did want to tell everybody, like, just be careful if you're looking for jobs and applying for jobs, because who knew that those are sites that are scamming people. But anyway, very poor segue into what I made last week, and like I did say, it's not the past 2 weeks almost, but it's not a lot because I've just been kind of scattered. But I made a big pile over here, and I'm just going to show you one at a time in no particular order. But I'm going to start with a repeat of the Mushy Boy from the Friendly Red Fox. This was the first one that I made with yarn on hand. I kind of feel like that looks like pepperoni pizza, the way I the pink on pink, but somebody will love it. It's a mushroom pizza. There you go. That's what it is. This is what I want to tell you. This is the Mainstays yarn from Walmart, the Cozy Chenille. This is Bernat from Walmart. And the Bernat blanket yarn at Walmart is $9.99 a skein, and it's $12.99 a skein at Michael's. And I know with Michael's you do get like the coupons if you're one of, the rewards and stuff. If you spend so much, they'll send you a coupon to use. But I am pretty convinced that Walmart is selling its own Bernat. Look at that. Look at that difference. Isn't that weird? I really do like this guy. I mean, this yarn's really soft, and both the white and the red are the Bernat from Walmart. I do like it, but my gosh, is it thin. I think I used a 5mm hook for this, and I remember using a 6 for this and wishing I had a 6.5, but I don't. I have a 7, but I think that would have been too big. I felt like I was fighting the yarn a little bit with the 6. But anyway, made 2 Mushy Boys. I do have a big market coming up on November 2nd. And I think I've said in prior videos that this is a really popular event in town, and I did pay a lot of money for it. I do have a reasonable amount of inventory from stuff that did not get sold at my last market, and also I paid for an umbrella space and not a tent space because it was already really expensive, and it was really just to see how much I could sell. I didn't want to spend even more money on a 10 by 10 space. Even though I am going to have to buy the umbrella, I have less space to put my inventory, so I am not that stressed about not having enough. But I do have a couple things that I can show you. I think last time I had started this giraffe, and I really like it. This is Gianna the Giraffe, and it is a blog post by Desert Blossom Crafts. This was an interesting pattern. Now, I love the result. I think she is just the cutest. Let me do this for you. She's a good size. There we go. And I did not use a rod or anything. I just stuffed this neck really firmly, and it's really not that wobbly for given the construction of it. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember the whole, until I got to about the neck, I just felt like I was fudging it because it involved kind of like you would with a two-legged creature, how you make the first leg and then you attach the second one. This, I've never done this before. Maybe you've done it a bunch of times. I do like how the result put 4 legs that sit on a table. Like sometimes you'll make a 4-legged creature and one leg is kind of wonky, but this involved one leg and then joining the second one and doing that twice, and then attaching the first set of 2 legs to the second set of 2 legs, and then going around to do the body. And of course my count was just completely off for a good 5 or 6 rows, and I was like, well, as long as it looks right, nobody's gonna know the difference. But not bad. I really do like the result. So 2 legs and then 2 legs joined together, go up to the body. You do the head separately. You sew on the ears and the horns, and then the head started here. Yes, started here and ended here, and then so this is completely closed, and then you sew it onto a neck that has an opening at the top. You can call this cheating or not, but I did put one of the giraffe spots right here to stabilize the neck a little bit more. That did seem to help. I don't remember if the pattern included any like neck stabilizing instructions. I just stuffed it really firmly. And I have in the past used those hair curling rods from the Dollar Tree, but because the head was closed, I wasn't sure if that was really gonna work in it, you know, giving it stability between the head and the neck. And I use these cute green eyes. Can you see them? Yes. I would do this again. The pattern uses acrylic, and if I do it again, I may do it in acrylic just so I can see the stitches, because this part here was just a mystery. Now the result is fine. The whole time I was making it, I was thinking that this leg was bigger than this one, but now that I haven't looked at it in a couple of days, I do like it a lot more. You know, if you don't like your plushies, just like, don't look at them for a few days. And then when you come back, the mistakes that you thought were just like so glaringly obvious may not be, and things are, you know, stop being such a critic. It's okay. The people that buy these don't notice the mistakes. Moving on. So a couple nights ago, I was thinking I needed to make some small things. So I did. I had this pink yarn, excuse the reach here. I made 2 pigs using 2 different patterns. I like this one better. And these are both free patterns on Ribbler. And I don't know, this is some mystery yarn that I have from buying someone's stash, but of the 2, I would definitely make more of this one. I think those eyes could be a little bit more interesting. Maybe I'll go back and give them some eyelashes or some eyelids or something, but 2 little quick $10 makes. And then I also just made a little bird with some scrap yarn. This is another free pattern on Ribbler that is pretty reliable. It's very quick, very easy. It's just a pill shape, and then you chain out for the little wings, and the feet are bobble stitches. So very, very quick make. You could just like knock out a bunch of these sitting around watching TV one evening. I know I'm going fast. The next 2 items are from, you know what, I have Crochet Roulette weeks 8, 9, and 10. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you right now. And I have 8 and 9 because I didn't make a video last week. And so let me start there. That week, the themes were birds and rainbow. And I thought I thought about taking that blackbird pattern that I used when I was getting ready for the Beatles Festival, and I really thought the blackbird was just a little bit too chubby for matching the vibes of the song. I thought maybe I could take that pattern and do rainbow wings, but then I was like, that is way more work than it should be, because that pattern involved like the talons were, I think it was 3 single crochets in a magic ring and then 3 single crochets around, and I remember just going up to 4 and still finding that very difficult. And that it was the same with the beak. It was just a lot of like really tiny cylinders, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to put myself through that unless I use acrylic yarn, and I didn't want to. I wanted to make something, well, if I was going to make a plushie, it was going to be with plush yarn. So I decided I was going to make an owl purse. And some things I like about this, some things I don't. I think I definitely captured the vibe of rainbow and bird. I did a magnet clasp here, and I made this triangle 2 layers because these magnets are really strong and I didn't want to just like break the yarn with opening and closing the flap. So this is super thick and there's also some interfacing in between, and I hot glued and sewed on the magnets, and then there's some interfacing under this patch right here too. I feel like I did it too high up. Once it was done, I was like, I really should have put the magnet more here than here, but it does line up for what I did do. I also don't like that this is pointy. I think that's what's bugging me. I think if I made this round and the eyes bigger, I would like it a little better. Because some things, and there was a pattern on a blog, and I can link that to the description in this video. And I decided from seeing other owl bag patterns to make the wings as pockets. So these are little like chapstick pockets. Once it stretches, you could probably put a key fob in here. And I just hot glued the buttons on to give it a little bit more decoration and to make it a little bit more rainbowy. I don't know if I like it enough to bring it to the market, but I might, just for me, do a half circle flap and make the eyes bigger and frog out the magnet so I can use it again. Stay tuned. I don't know. This might just, I have a lot of bags, so this might just go into a closet to a frogger finish, something that I will do in a year or so. I don't know. That was week 8. This week is the theme is free pattern and the color is purple, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do because this may be one of my favorite free patterns of all time. Ooh, I gotta back up. So, how's that for size? She beautiful. This is another free pattern on Ribbler. I believe it's Crochet Designs by D. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, and I will have it correct in the description for the video. I love this pattern. I've done it before. It was one of the very last plush toys that I made in acrylic yarn, so it still hasn't sold, but it does get a lot of attention. And I did put $45 on it because this is a lot of work. And I'm probably gonna put $55 on this one because it's quite a bit bigger than the last one. So you do make, I'm trying to remember. This is like the giraffe where the head isn't completely enclosed. Yep, starts here, I can tell, ends here, and then you sew the head onto a body with a neck opening. The body is one piece. You crochet in the arms, I do remember that, and then you sew on the legs. The one thing, oh my gosh, this should not be a free pattern except for one thing. The pictures show that the paws are one color and then the rest of it is in white, but the pattern does not tell you when to change colors. Now, I was able to look at the pictures and count the number of rows, but I may have just played with it too. I'm not sure. But if you can get past that, it's a really great pattern, and it's one of those things like, why is this free? You could charge for this and make money. So you, like I said, arms, legs, body, head, you make the ears and the horns, and then the hair, of course, takes time. And then you have to sew each one on, and you do according to the pattern. I mean, there's no law saying you have to do exactly what it says, but I did follow the instructions to make 9, and then you make 6 of these for the tail, and I am very pleased with this. The last time I made this, I did follow the pattern instructions to make eyes. They're gorgeous. I didn't do that partially to save time, and then partially because the theme being purple, I wanted to use these, and that seemed a little more purple in the theme than if I had crocheted the eyes myself. But it's more than a typical, it's not just a circle, like there were some color changes in there and it's pretty cool. I do recommend looking at it. I do recommend this pattern. Let me know if you try it. So the last thing that I have, I'm not done yet, being that there were 10 weeks of crochet roulette, it was obvious what the 10th one, it was going to be what was left over, and it was stripes for the color and yeah, stripes for the color. The theme is protective cover. Cover, color, those were hard to say, like make them sound distinct. Protective cover for the theme, and the color is stripes. Because stripes a color. It is. Like, I totally get it. Like, yeah, stripes is a color. So is rainbow. But I'm more than 90% done, so I'm gonna show you. This is a pattern that I found for free on the internet. It is from Lion Brand. I don't, I'm kind of like not really trusting anything. I don't know if somebody ripped them off and put it on there for free for everyone, because the pattern only has one picture. And there are things that are front and back, and I'm doing some things in the back just completely blind because there are no pictures. I mean, I can guess, I can, use my own creative expression to do it my way, but I kind of feel like there's more to it and it really may be a paid pattern. But I pinned it, and I, of course I'll put the link in the description because I found it for free. I don't know. I didn't do anything shady. I just Googled this idea for a pattern and that's what I found, because the last time, and I haven't told you what it is yet, the last time I made one of these, it was when the theme was space. So I made an astronaut and I love it. I like this so much more than the last astronaut I made. The last astronaut pattern I used was a freebie on Ribbler. It was very basic. No details. This pattern is a little bit more detailed and I have made it my own. The pattern as written just has like a foot and mitten color and then changed to white, but gotta do some stripes. And I used this sparkly blue yarn as a reflection in the visor of the helmet. It did turn out, so everything is just chenille from Dollar Tree except for this. And then when I started working on it, I realized it was a little bit thinner, even thinner than the just chenille. So I used a 4mm hook for everything except the head. So you, just as you would expect, make one leg, make another one, attach it, work your way up. And then you make the head separately, you make the hood separately, or the helmet, the hood to go over the head. I had to put some extra rows in this because this yarn was thinner and I needed to size down my hook. So I added some rows, but it miraculously does fit pretty nicely. And then I just used the red to sew around because it's an astronaut, like it can't come off. Like this is attached. He's not gonna survive without the astronaut suit on. And the little neckband right here did help stabilize the neck. I do feel like it's still a little bit wobbly. I did try a couple extra stitches attaching the head to the body. The arms are sewn on. I think it would have been better if the instructions had you crochet them in. I do need to sew these down a little better. I can kind of see some gaps right here. The only thing left is there's this tube and there is a backpack. So like this is the, all right, I get it now. This is the top and the sides. I'm working top down. So the backpack is gonna go here. I was thinking about doing rainbow stripes on the backpack, but at this point I'm like, no, just finish. It's several days in making, so I'm just gonna finish this and move on and give him a white backpack and enjoy the stripes. around the helmet and then the hands and feet. But I do like this guy. I think he's cool. So what I'm thinking about doing, if I manage to get it all done before my next market, is to make aliens in each one of these rainbow colors and have him around the astronaut and the rocket ship that I made for the week in Crochet Roulette that the theme was space and the color was red. And if you saw that video, the rocket ship is cool, but I don't know if it may stick around for a while before somebody buys it, but it is a really great prop to put things like this astronaut and the alien around it, because at my last market, somebody bought the astronaut and the alien that I had made, and I offered them the rocket ship and they were just kind of like, I don't know. It is very plain, and I did do it in acrylic, so it is just kind of boring, but who knows? Somebody will love it. But I am excited to put this guy and the aliens and the spaceship somewhere in my umbrella space that I have for not this Sunday, but the next one. And that's all I got, guys. Hopefully I can get a lot done between now and Sunday and have another video to share with you. Maybe my disposition might be a little sunnier. I wish I was bringing more energy to this video right now, but you know, life's interesting right now. But anyway, y'all take care of yourselves. If somebody makes you mad, you don't know what they're going through, so just be gentle with people, and I will see you in the next one.